Hey there guys, this is your host Richard with another marvelous video. X-Men 97 has been the near-perfect reboot of the iconic animated series from the 90s, and so far, the 6 episodes have offered fans a lot of nostalgia and solid stories. However, now that the first season of the show is nearing its end, the 7th episode titled Bright Eyes is quite possibly the last one-off episode, because the next 3 episodes are parts of the same finale story arc titled Tolerance is Extinction. In this video, we'll explore everything that happened in episode 7 and also simplify the ending and how things are set up before the grand finale. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How do the events of the episode Bright Eyes unfold? The episode starts off with Gambit's funeral service orchestrated by Nightcrawler and witnessed by the X-Men. During the event, Nightcrawler warns Wolverine that Jubilee is rightly concerned about Rogue, as she witnessed something beyond grief and loss during the Genosha massacre. Meanwhile, Rogue is shown flying purposefully straight into a US Army secret facility. She's warned by the guards, but she pays no heed to these threats. Her face carries a lot of grit and determination, and clearly, she means business. We soon realize the true extent of her intentions when the guards of the facility stand no chance against her ferocious attacks. The perimeters of the facility are breached, and we get a quick look at the soldiers inside. Their commander tries to assure them about the impenetrable facility, which was built to hold the Hulk. He's sure that a mere mutant would stand no chance against such a structure, but he soon has to eat his words as Rogue breaks through. She demands to know about the secret location of Henry Gyrich and Bolivar Trask, clearly seeking revenge for the Genosha massacre. Meanwhile, Cyclops is having a meeting with the president, who blatantly states that the UN would be unable to provide the mutants with any further assistance. He's worried about the anti-mutant sentiments, which might affect the upcoming polls, and Cyclops is frustrated by his nonchalance. However, irrespective of the lack of empathy from the UN or the president, Cyclops assembles a team of X-Men, including the likes of Jean Grey, Wolverine, and the others. They all head to Genosha to find some hope for the mutants in these troubled times. The looks of Genosha aren't promising in the aftermath of the attack. Everything is in ruins, and several people are badly injured. Many others are still missing, and the X-Men try their best to assist in the search and rescue operations. Back at the secret military facility, Rogue is interrupted by the familiar Captain America shield. He appears and requests Rogue to reconsider her actions. She doesn't have time for manners and politeness, but Captain America tells her about his intention of tracking down Bolivar Trask, just like her. He also reveals that Gyrich was transferred out of the US as a part of a secret mission last week. He's currently in Mexico City, and Captain America intends to take his team and hunt him down once he gets the green signal to go ahead. However, Rogue refuses to wait or do things by the book. When Captain America refuses to be a part of such a rash decision, she simply takes his shield and flings it across into the mountains. It seems like Captain America is helpless in this situation, and he doesn't even have the heart to stop Rogue because he understands her sentiments. Miss Tilby, the journalist, has a difficult conversation with Beast, who is spiteful of all that's happened in the recent past. He wonders if Professor Xavier's vision was not far-sighted enough, and he also questions if begging for tolerance was the right thing to do in the first place. Back with Rogue, she tracks down the secret hideout of Gyrich and realizes that he's being kept in a fancy resort instead of a prison. She neutralizes the guards in quick time and corners Gyrich, who's surprisingly not bothered by the threat. He claims to have made friends in high places and says that he knows nothing about Bolivar Trask's whereabouts. She attacks him with great fury, but something leaves her shocked as the scene cuts away. Meanwhile, Cyclops and Jean Grey try their best to reconcile as they navigate the way through the ruins of Genosha looking for survivors. Suddenly, Jean Grey reads the presence of Madeline Pryor under the rubble. It turns out that Madeline had mutated into a diamond form in order to withstand the pressure of the rubble above her and thus managed to survive. However, things take a serious turn with Bolivar Trask reaching out to the X-Men. While speaking to Cyclops, he claims that he had no idea that his DNA was being used by Mr. Sinister. He also says how he had no idea about what had happened in Genosha. He asks the X-Men to come to the UN Peace Legion in Madripoor for more clues on what he wants them to know. Trask wants the X-Men to see for themselves how terrible their futures can be. We're also given a quick glimpse of the dynamics between Roberto and Jubilee. The latter convinces Roberto to come clean about his mutant identity to his parents, and he realizes that he's been living a lie for far too long. When he finally confesses about his true identity to his mother, it turns out that she already knew all about his mutant self and simply waited for him to confess on his own. While she's pretty comfortable with her son's mutant nature, she asks him to keep it under wraps because their industrialist family can't afford to attract anti-mutant sentiments among the people. Back at Madripoor, the X-Men extract a lot more information from Bolivar Trask. The facility seems to be filled with high-tech Sentinel experiments, which Beast admits are way ahead of the time. Bolivar tells them that he was manipulated by Sinister Sinister to give him the access to Master Mold, which allowed the Genosha massacre. When he claims to know nothing more about the whereabouts of the main culprits, Rogue lets him fall to his death. However, in a shocking twist, he's brought back as a human Sentinel and attacks the X-Men. The ferocity of the attack overpowers just about everyone from Beast to Wolverine to Cyclops. Finally, Cable comes to their rescue with a weapon from the future, but it's also evident that the stage is set for a much greater chaos. The final moments of the episode give you the exact context of the damage done. A much bigger conspiracy seems to be at play, and it includes a surprisingly new villain alongside Mr. Sinister. As it turns out, Bastion is working with Sinister to bring down the mutants for good, and the true extent of their plans are already unleashed in the previous scenes. The X-Men have realized that the advancement of the new Prime Sentinels being developed are so lethal that they wouldn't have a chance. Meanwhile, Cable also tells them about the involvement of Bastion, and warns them that unless Bastion is defeated by them, there'll be no future to live in. The final act throws up another shocker when it's revealed that Sinister and Bastion know about Professor Xavier being alive. However, in an even greater surprise, it's shown that Magneto is alive, but held hostage by Bastion. The poor guy's restrained by power-dampening collars and can't move a muscle, as Bastion looks to perform some twisted experiment on him. The episode ends on an ominous note, as it's quite clear that we're in for a lot more bloodshed and chaos than what we've witnessed already. The 3-part season finale will be truly mouth-watering. Will Magneto be turned into a Prime Sentinel? The involvement of Bastion has thrown up several possibilities in the story arc going ahead. As mentioned by Cable, the future of mutants is largely dependent on the actions taken by the X-Men against Bastion. If the comic book story arc is to be considered, Bastion has used a Sentinel army against the X-Men, and this seems to be on the cards one more time. While fans might rejoice momentarily about Magneto being alive, from the looks of it, Bastion is already preparing him to be turned into one of the powerful Prime Sentinels. If he's successful, we can only imagine the kind of hell that the X-Men will have to endure. Are more X-Men members dead? The attack by the Prime Sentinel version of Bolivar Trask proves to be quite deadly, and he takes down multiple members of the X-Men during the face-off. The Sentinel suggests that the mutants have been eliminated, and given the solid blows, there can be concerns over the likes of Morph and other comparatively weaker mutants of the team. Of course, it's unlikely that major X-Men members will be taken out before what seems to be the ultimate showdown in the season finale. Will Cable play a key role in the outcome of the battle? Cable is always a key character when he's introduced, and here he seems to play a decisive role. It's already been established that the alliance of Mr. Sinister and Bastion holds such technological marvels against the X-Men that they wouldn't stand a chance. In such a scenario, someone with access to the futuristic weapons might just be the perfect person to walk in. Cable failed once before in Genosha, but he'll surely try to make it count this time around. Will we see Storm and Professor Xavier in the finale? So much has happened in Episode 7, but we haven't seen Storm or Professor Xavier in action yet. Both are aware of the dangers that have dawned upon the X-Men, and you can expect them to make a comeback in the finale in what'll be a collective effort to set things right and take down the deadliest of enemies allied together. Especially if the situation turns worse, with Magneto turned into one of the Sentinels, the X-Men will need the support of their trusted comrade and leader one more time. Marvelous verdict, stage all set for the perfect season finale. It wouldn't be an overstatement to suggest that X-Men 97 has surpassed the high expectations of the fans, and the show has truly lived up to the legacy of X-Men, the animated series. After a series of whirlwind episodes and loads of twists and turns, we're finally set for the season finale, and there couldn't have been a better way to set things up. How things go down from here on can be up for speculation, especially with the second season formally announced. You may not get the perfect closure in that case, but if things go right, we can expect this show to reach the iconic status of its predecessor over the years. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below about your thoughts on the episode Bright Eyes, and also tell us what you think of the finale story arc. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks everyone.